Welcome everyone to Fierce Friday. We are here with you. I am Ashley and I am a member of the Million Mom Movement Council. And I am joined today by my fellow council members, Dalmanish here, Naiva, also Sherry is not with us today, and we have Allison with us. So I am excited for you all to be able to be a part of this because as women, we need this to be together and to have this community. So, what we're going to be talking about is hormone harmony and balancing menopause naturally, which is a very hot topic right now. So, before we jump into this, I want to be able to have our pledge read, and I would love for someone to volunteer. If you would like to share, then we would love to hear from you. So raise your hand if you're available and would like to be put on the spot. And let me pull this up to screen share. Let's see. Anybody willing to be brave and share? Let's see. Here it is for us. So I would just love for someone to be able to read this pledge and then share with us what it means to you. And or if Naiva, do you see Gracie on? Would she be available possibly? If she's not on. Everyone's so shy today. Okay. You know what? Oh, we've got Marty. Okay. Go ahead and share for us, please.
I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and the environment of future generations. I am committed to sharing the movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement.
Beautiful. And before you mute yourself, just share with us what in your life has been an outstanding thing. I know you've shared before, but I would love to hear if there's anything recent or any new wins that you've had that have been a direct impact because you being in this community with us.
Well, understanding the urgency of actually doing those things on a daily basis. I have to remind myself on a daily basis to read, and to actually take time in the grocery store and find minimally processed foods. I mean, actually taking that time and picking up one thing and the other and making that decision for myself and my family and setting a better example in my household. It's there things that get brought in that I still partake in. Like, I'm not going to lie, I just had a bowl of ice cream. But that is something that, even in looking at ice cream, what ice cream do I choose? What ice cream do I bring in the house? And I know that through time with my better decisions, I lead by example. And that makes my heart happy that I'm actually not just running through the grocery store and picking up what is commonly thought to be the best of the best when it's not. So just taking that time, that's what it means to me. Taking the time needed.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Martha, for sharing. That was so powerful because it's true. It's so easy as we go through life to just be like, okay, we're just rushing. And even some of the things that we normally thought we could grab and were fine before, some things have changed. So just being in keeping that in the forefront of our mind so that we can be aware and be able to choose wisely for our families. And the impact is felt in the household vibrationally. Even we feel it, right, when anything's off or somebody's eaten something that is just real gunky, right? We feel it. So that is an amazing share. Thank you so much. So now that we have that, and we all agree that that is important, I would love to jump into this topic of balancing menopause naturally. So this is really a natural phase of life, but for many women, it becomes this roller coaster, right? There's physical, emotional challenges, there's hot flashes, mood swings, fatigue, disrupted sleep, and these symptoms are overwhelming, especially because we, as women, we know that they're approaching. And when they hit, it's like, wait, I'm not ready for this. At least I've heard. And so balancing our hormones naturally and easing into this season of life is definitely possible. And it can make all the difference of how you feel. And one thing that I want to really focus on and make the theme of this is the fact that this is a beautiful time to embrace your body's inner power and authority, because she is powerful and she deserves that notice, and to be able to have that focus to understand that there is this time now that you've learned so much, and now you get to embrace that power that all of your life you've been able to see this cyclical way of life, and now you're going to see a different way that this cycle is going to show up in your life. And we're still all cyclical beings, so that is going to remain the same. So now it's just shifting and finding that new way of viewing it. So I want you to view it from that time. I love that. Yes, a season of wisdom. It really, truly is. And how you can use that to help others navigate their own other seasons, their springs and their summers. And as you're coming into your fall, this is a wonderful time for you to embrace those things. So that's really what I would like to keep coming back to, is the inner power and authority. So the key to navigating menopause with ease is achieving hormone harmony. And hormones, they play a pivotal role in our overall health. So when they become imbalanced during menopause, it can impact everything from our energy levels to our mental clarity. But the right approach can help support our body's hormonal functions and restore balance. So we're going to be talking about how to recognize that change happening and how to understand when those hormonal changes are happening. So you want to understand that what's happening in our bodies during menopause is that it is marking that end of the reproductive years. And this is usually when officially happens when you have gone 12 months without your cycle. So during this time, your ovaries produce less estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, which can lead to a variety of different emotional and physical symptoms. And as your estrogen levels decline, the body's other systems, such as bone density and cardiovascular health and mood regulation, can all be affected. And so this is why balancing the hormones naturally is so important. So we can do some really amazing things by just really leaning into this holistic way of life that most of us here really have embraced or are beginning to embrace. So we want to focus on our nutrition and fueling our bodies. The few things that we can focus on when we eat are nutrient dense foods, of course, that are rich in vitamins and minerals, healthy fats, And all of those are super essential as we're producing hormones and keeping them in balance. So some phytoestrogens would be plant-based compounds that give the body that feeling of having estrogen. That would be like flaxseed, soy, legumes, and they are great sources of those phytoestrogens. Because our body is at a point where and during this time when your estrogen declines, so having more of those in the body would be ideal. Healthy fats, omega-3s, fatty acids, found in nuts and seeds. They really are amazing in helping support hormone production and reducing inflammation. Fiber, having foods that are high in fiber, like fruits and vegetables and whole grains, that really helps to detoxify the body by supporting digestion and regulating blood sugar levels, which we know also is linked to our mood. Antioxidants, foods like berries and leafy greens and green tea really can help protect against oxidative stress, which actually is heightened during menopause. So we really want to protect ourselves and keep them in the best shape and keep them healthy and strong and not breaking down due to this oxidative stress. And we have, of course, with Purium, amazing products that support us in all of these areas, which I will go over shortly. Another great thing to do is work on stress management. Like I just mentioned, oxidative stress is high. It's really important during this time to relax and restore. Chronic stress can really wreak havoc on our hormones, especially during menopause. So when we're stressed and your body is producing cortisol, this can disrupt the balance of estrogen and progesterone. And chronic high cortisol levels can make menopausal symptoms worse, which leads to irritability and anxiety and even weight gain. So to reduce our stress, some good tips would be to focus on mindfulness and meditation. So these practices and like deep breathing and mindfulness, being present, really activate our body's relaxation response and keep our cortisol levels low and keep them in check. Regular exercise is really good so that we are doing this low intensive movement with our bodies. It really reduces our stress to be able to improve our mood and help maintain healthy weight during menopause. So we want to aim for activities that really we enjoy, because if we're stressed out about working out and then we go do the workout, chances are it's not going to be the thing that we need. So things that we enjoy, whether it's walking or swimming or dancing. I really love the rebounder, so jumping on my trampoline. So things that you feel are fun to get your body moving, get that lymph moving, is going to really support you during that time of menopause. Sleep is another very, very important stress reducer. Sleep is essential for our hormones, for our hormone production. So it's our goal to get 7 to 9 hours per night so that we can regulate that cortisol and support overall hormone health. So we've got also some hormonal helpers. I love that we already, some of these things I'm going to mention for support from herbs that are adaptogenic. I'm going to mention later where you can find them, but we know that we can get them, and that is huge. Having an easy source of these herbs is so important, and a reliable source. So some herbs that have been shown to support hormonal health and ease menopause symptoms are ashwagandha, maca root, and they helped adapt the stress and help the body to adapt to stress and balance out estrogen levels. It's also black cohosh. That one is commonly used to alleviate hot flashes and night sweats. So, two of the most common symptoms of menopause can be alleviated in such a natural way. We also want to stay hydrated. So that is another tip. It's so key. Proper hydration is often overlooked, but it's so crucial for overall wellness, hormone balance, because dehydration can lead to feelings of fatigue, brain fog, and mood swings, all of which are exacerbated during menopause. So hydration is important. We need to keep that plentiful water flowing throughout our day. And even considering electrolytes, adding that to our water, or I love also cocoa hydrate, which is an amazing way to stay hydrated. We want to also find ways to maintain a healthy weight. So that is the fifth tip. So estrogen is stored in fat cells. So as you go through menopause, your body's ability to burn fat and regulate hormones may slow down. So maintaining a healthy weight can help reduce the severity of symptoms like hot flashes, mood swings that I've been mentioning, and sleep disturbances. So focusing on balancing out what we're taking into our bodies, and keeping movement a regular part of our day really will support that weight management. So now the fun part where we get to talk about where we can find support from our amazing company. So, of course, we know that getting those nutrients in, those dense nutrients in, is going to be in our daily core four. And your ULT if you prefer to have your 2 meals a day. That's just the foundational way that we can get a full spectrum of our vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. And it really supports our hormones that being balanced, and supports our bodies to be able to have a healthy immune function and just, of course, overall health. Specifically, the Power Shake is a nutrient packed shake, and it really provides us with those leafy greens that I mentioned before, and also those healthy slow burning carbs so that we're nourished for a long period of time and in a proper way. Also, one that I really love is our MVP Sport. And this one is just an amazing way, either vanilla or chocolate, to get plant-based protein. And it's actually known for its hormone balancing properties. So the maca root that's in there is a natural adaptogen that can support energy levels, mood, and sexual health during menopause. Also, Menopausitive, which is our newest addition to the family that we love so much. And this is really an amazing blend. I've heard so many different practitioners that have talked about how they would recommend these different tinctures on separately. So now that they're combined, it makes it so easy to be able to support our bodies during these hormonal fluctuations, from the time that your cycle begins all the way through past menopause. This is really what you want to be incorporating as women. This is a necessity, I feel. We have the chase tree berry, the dong quai root, American ginseng, red clover aerial parts, and black cohosh root are all in there for us. So just amazingly, we know Dave has always been amazing with formulating these for us. So that is huge. I also love the Women's Defense, and this is some amazing properties in it. The organic sprouted soy, the cat's claw extract, the red clover, the fermented soy, and the glycodin. So these are ways that we can support our body and be able to really give our bodies what they need during this change and these fluctuations. So I would love to hear now from some of our other council members, and what are some of the things that you have loved? Any things that you have heard from your clients and their own personal testimonials that you would like to share? I would love to pass it over to you. So I can start with passing it over to Naeva.
Thank you so much. What a great presentation and so much valuable information shared about how we can navigate this phase in our life with grace, right? Because we hear so many things, those of us who have not gone through that time of life yet. We hear so many scary stories. And really, we want to go into this next phase of life confident that we have the tools to keep our hormones balanced and to do the things that we can feel good through every phase of life, right? And so we can be balanced and supported through every phase of life. And so this is a really amazing way, as part of this community and the tools that we're sharing here to empower ourselves, but also be able to go out there and ripple this out to the other women who need this information, right? We don't want anybody to be suffering through any part of their life. We want to make it the best possible. And so this has been really valuable. I really enjoyed all the information you shared. And for me, the thing that stands out the most is that throughout life, our hormones are always something that's fluctuating. And it's something that we don't always have a lot of control over because we are inundated with toxins, environmental toxins, and endocrine disruptors, and all of these things, pesticides, chemicals, things in our food, things in our environment. And all of that affects our hormones. And so it's something to take note of, right? Take a note of if you have, certain things that disrupt your hormones, because that will make your symptoms worse instead of better. So in addition to adding in and giving you the tools to feel better during this time and this phase of life, we also want to encourage you to look at your environmental toxins around your home. Are you using good dish soap, laundry soap? Are you using dryer sheets? Throw those out. Are you using the air fresheners or the Glade plugins? Like, all of those things are hormone disruptors, and there's so many more. The list goes on and on. But it is important that if we're going to take the steps to increase the positive hormone balancing, that we also get rid of the things that are possibly causing our hormones to be out of balance in the first place. And so the other thing I wanted to mention too is with the Menopause. I've been loving this new product. Anybody who's tried it and had a good experience, go ahead and drop us some love in the comments or share one of your experiences with us. That one I love because it's really, even though the name is Menopause and it alludes to taking it during that phase of life, it really is a hormone balancer for all women. And it's been said by Dave Sandoval that you can use this, from teenage girls all the way into your 70s, or, until the upper ages of your life, because it will continue to just help balance your hormones. And like I said earlier, we're constantly on this, roller coaster of balancing hormones throughout life. So the Menopause is currently one of my favorites. It has been since it got launched. I really love the women's defense as well. Those two I take all the time. And then, of course, the other ones that you mentioned, I mean, they're all our go-tos, right? The MVP Sport, I mean, I add it to my protein shakes often. It's really delicious. And then, of course, the Power Shake is our daily go-to. So I have that every day as well. And it just really, even as somebody who has not yet gone through menopause, it does just help me have a maintained daily habits and maintain my balanced hormones in the phase of life that I'm in right now. So I just want to encourage everybody to take the first step, whatever that is for you. And I'll go ahead and pass it over to Dominique.
Okay, there we go. Now I can unmute. Hi, everyone. It's so great to be here today. And I love this conversation around, looking at supporting ourselves as women from a holistic perspective, because for so long we've honestly not honored ourselves during these phases of hormonal fluctuations and with our menstrual cycle all the way up until, women go through menopause. So I love that we are empowering ourselves to be proactive with coming back to ourselves through nature and reminding ourselves to slow down, but that there's also power in rest and slowing down and embracing these changes that we're going through. I have a lot of people, actually, women that I've introduced menopause to within my community. And like Naeva said, from all different walks of life, no matter where they are in their cycle. And so I have a woman who is actually dealing with fibroids. She's not yet in the state of her menopause just yet, but she was always dealing with really bad menstrual cramps. And she just finished a month on menopausitive, and she sent me a text message and said her cycle was amazing, that she wasn't dealing with any cramps, and she had a lot of less PMS symptoms. I also have another friend. She wasn't able to join us tonight, unfortunately, but or today, excuse me, but she had mentioned also going through menopause. She was transitioning from corporate America to launching her own business. And then she got hit with the fluctuations of menopause and the hormonal effects. And she was just telling me how going through the 90-day ultimate lifestyle transformation allowed her to slow down, but feel a lot more grounded in her body through these fluctuations of her menopausal symptoms. And she just feels so much better and a lot able to focus on her business and be more proactive in creating, right? Because it's not that this time of our lives is when we're supposed to stop creating. You can still create. You might not be able to reproduce, as a woman and birth children at this point, but what other aspects of our lives can we still birth and still create? And I love that this nutrition has been supportive for her along that journey. Some other superfoods that I know that she recommends she loved was Can't Beat This is incredible. I mean, drop a 2 in the chat if you love Can't Beat This. I think everybody does. Obviously, it also has the maca root that Ashley mentioned to being supportive of our hormonal balances. It also has ginseng and coconut water, so it keeps you hydrated, but also gives you that boost of energy from the beets that you need to navigate your day-to-day tasks. So just love having this community and this support, not just from the nutrition, but also to open up conversations around this for women going through that place in their life to feel supported.
Awesome. Thank you so much, both ladies. I love the way that you both express yourself. It's just the best. So now I would love to hear got some hands raised. So we're gonna start opening it up. So if you have some testimonials or some shares or have any stories around this topic, please go ahead and raise your hand now and we can take you next. But I would love to hear from Grace C. And I'd love to hear your story and tell me a little bit more about yourself and introduce yourself, because we might be seeing a little bit more of you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Grace, and I am certified in holistic midwifery. I'm a longtime birth worker, and this is one of my favorite topics. Anything that has to do with women's cycles and our growth journey through our cycles. And I just wanted to say that for me, I am officially a menopausal person, and menopause was equally challenging for me as postpartum. And as a birth worker, I supported a lot of postpartum families. And I think that I thought I was a little bit immune to, just the interruption in the cycles. And I discovered the same for menopause. And I think it's probably been one of my most difficult entryways, and partially because I feel like there aren't a lot of public conversations. So kudos to all of us for opening up the conversation and embracing women in this time of change. Information is power. And so when we can approach this time with, knowing that everything can be addressed naturally. And not only can it be addressed naturally, but this is such a powerful time. For me, I spent the bulk of my life focusing on wanting to have a child, and I was a little later in life. I had my one and only child at 42. So I was perimenopausal and, postpartum simultaneously. And these superfoods, I actually found Purium when I was postpartum, and they have just set me straight. And there was a period of time prior to menopause where I wasn't as synced in with my protocols. But the people who I was supporting were reporting like amazing, like I'm not having any more hot flashes after doing the daily core 4, just more vibrancy. And so I kind of had to get my booty in gear and get back on the products in a really serious way. And I would say it's pretty much night and day for me, honestly, when I'm even just the baseline, even the daily core 4 makes a tremendous difference. So there's a lot I could say. This is one of my favorite topics, and I hope that we get to address it more. Thank you for giving me a little mic time, and thanks for opening this conversation.
Thank you so much, Grace, for sharing. I feel like you have so much more to give too about this. So I'm excited when we reach this topic again. And now I'd love to hear from Kelly. If you could unmute and share with us.
Hello there. Yes, I love this topic also. And I'm 49. I'm about 6 months away from being 50, and I've had menopausal symptoms for about the last 4 or 5 years. I put in the chat earlier, I had two special sorry, I'm losing my words today. Gynecological, sorry. I saw some gynecologists at a specialty clinic at a prominent hospital because I deal with something called adenomyosis. It's like the evil twin to endometriosis. And they told me, based on some symptoms I was having, that the average age now for menopause to start is 42. And the average age women are done with it is 49. And I was shocked. And so I asked them a bunch of questions, and they mentioned all of the things that you talked about, all the things that are endocrine disruptors and the chemicals and the preservatives and the things we use in cleaners. And just like so many of our children, I've got a daughter who's 22 now, just like they're having so many hormonal issues so much earlier in life, it's bringing on menopause symptoms earlier in life. And so it's never too late to start getting on top of this. And I've had incredible success. I love Menopausitive. I was having horrible hot flashes. Now I only have them if, I do something like have coffee that's a trigger. But otherwise, it's amazing. Right now, I'm only having cycles about every 6 months, but they're the best they've ever been in my life. I wish I knew about all of this 30 years ago, but the last 2 years since starting Purium have been incredible. And my daughter, she's 22 now, she had horrible symptoms, and she's using Women's Defense and all the things you mentioned, and even Menopausitive, and it's been wonderful. So any age of life, but it's really interesting how we can be having menopause symptoms, all the things that you mentioned earlier. We might be having those and not realizing they're symptoms of menopause because we might think, I'm way too young for that. So I just wanted to share that. We might be having them and not even realize it.
That's so true. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I love that you're just open and willing to share your story too. That is amazing. I always am very appreciative of anyone who is just open and willing to give their story, because it could help so many people. And I love that point about how it's possible that we're just not even paying attention to those signs that could be happening. So 1 second, babe. So I would love to hear now from Amy. If you can unmute and share with us, that'd be great.
Hi, everyone. I would like to echo what Grace started out with, is thank you for having this conversation. I'm in perimenopause, and I have been for several years now. Similar story to Kelly. Like, I was having all of these craziness going on, and I didn't chalk it up to hormones because everybody kept telling me, you're too young, you're too young. And I did more research, and I found out that perimenopause can last 10 to 12 years for some people. And then you put on that layer of finding out that all the research is showing that we're all mixed up in our hormones, that it is different than our mothers and grandmothers, you know, and we are too young because of these disruptors. So if we can get away from the disruptors and help our nutrition to the point where we're not experiencing perimenopause, that's huge, because that the longer we have our periods, the less likely we are to develop things like breast cancer and things. So a lot of people are excited to go through this change and not be having our periods anymore, which is understandable. It's been a rough one for a lot of us, but ultimately, the more when we are doing, when our body is doing the things it's supposed to be doing, that's a protection for us. So thank you to having this conversation. Please keep educating people about perimenopause. I know I never knew the word at all. I just thought it was you start your cycle and then you're going through menopause, and nobody really used to talk about what that actually meant or what that is. So I agree with the thoughts that have been conveyed already, is let's please keep talking about this. Let's educate our 20-year-olds and our 30-year-olds as to what to expect next and how to make it as easy as possible.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Amy. And not to put you on the spot, but if you don't mind, if you are open and willing to, I would love for you to share, just because I know what your symptoms and experiences were before beginning period and how different they are now. If you don't mind sharing, I would love to have you share that as well. But I have to find you and you know. See. Hopefully it's okay that I put you on the spot.
That's all. That's fine. I'll try to keep it brief. It's a little bit of an emotional story for me today, wouldn't you know? But about 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago, I started having one breast grow. And I was like, what in the world? I literally felt like I was going through puberty again. Like I remembered what that felt like physically. And then I had this, like, it's not happening on both sides. Oh my God, it's cancer, moment. So I, of course, went and got a baseline minute. I had to advocate for myself to get a mammogram because they told me I was too young. And I was like, well, something's going on, so we have to at least check it, right? So I didn't have to start yearly mammograms, but because they did give me one, and they just said it's just normal. And I'm like, this is so not normal. This is not me. So I had a little bit of a identity crisis on top of that. Then some other things started happening, some hot flashes occasionally, some super sleepless nights. Like I've always dealt with insomnia since childhood because of ADHD, but this was like a whole new level of not sleeping all night long. And I could tell it was a hormonal thing because it was very closely tied to my cycles. So I just felt like I was starting to go crazy. And of course, when you feel like you're going crazy, you start acting like you're going crazy, and your family suffers. My husband didn't know which way to go when he came in the door, and in order to save them from me, I would just stay in the bed or, try to isolate myself a little bit, which just exasperates the problem. And I started looking back on my family history, and I noticed in my memories that my mom did something similar. We had to walk on eggshells around her all the time, and we did not know what was going on. So we didn't have discussions like this. And then I thought about her mom, and she did something similar as well. She actually ended up leaving the family. So I knew I had to take action. I did not know what that action was. but I started searching for something. I knew I wanted it to be natural. I didn't want to spend thousands of dollars a month on man-made hormonal things. And so I started looking into nutritional options, and eventually it led me to Purium. And within the matter of a week of doing the ULT, I could tell I had found my path. And within 3 months, I had no PMS symptoms, and I was energetic. I was leaving my bedroom in my bed and getting out there and working my business. Not my Purium business. I was working Purium business, but my personal other business had been failing prior to Purium. So, getting this in line really, really helped. Like Dominique was sharing with one of her clients. It really matters. It really, really affects our lives. So thankfully, I found Purium and Purium found me, and I'm so thrilled to be here.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you, Amy, for sharing. That is so special that you have your life back and your husband has his wife back. And so thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so we've got Patty and Kelly and Ruth. So let's hear from Patty first. And thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate the menopausitive, and watching Amy at convention. You have 2 minutes to say hello, and I was just like, woman, you are menopausitive. Just watching her in action, menopausitive to me just like sort of puts moving parts together and created a daily, just something special. I noticed the difference when I'm purposing it consistently versus I might miss. And I just enjoy that. But what I wanted to share was, I can say, praise the Lord, I did not go through menopause in a manner having hot flashes, but I did have, after my daughter was born, I was 29, they called it perimenopause. It was an earlier version. And I was like, I wasn't obviously here and have the insight I do now. But I asked my doctor, and I liked my doctor, but everybody just wants to put you on a pill. And he said my labs showed that I was just like more male hormones. And I was like, what does that mean? I didn't know what it meant. But I mean, I could have shaved twice a day. I had psychedelic, like mid-cycle experiences. I was wild. I was so emotional. I'm still emotional and spirited person, but those markers of it's wise to watch and journal, knowing, is this me, or is this like something to be mindful of? Let's be like kind to ourselves and on these days. And so you pick up on that. So I don't understand how that regulated, other than taking a pill, which I do not recommend, a birth control pill. My reason for wanting to be on that was I was chronically like cystic acne. It was horrific. It was debilitating emotionally, scarring physically, emotionally. I hated every bit of that. And I was the try anything once girl, twice if you like it, because I just wanted to get rid of that. Anyway, fast forward, in my early 40s, I had both of these episodes were based on stress. but they affected my endocrine system and what happened? It was so stressful. I couldn't leave the house. My chiropractor and I don't know, homeopathic minds they called it a flooding. And I did not have this. And I don't recommend, I mean, like, pay attention to what you're purposing to, because it's all contaminated, but you have to be really careful of that. That lasted 6 weeks, and somebody came along and said, "You are so stressed." And I'm like, "Tell me something I don't know. How do you get out of this?" He helped me with some balancing. It wasn't Dave, but it was this gentleman was a Watarian Indian, and his family was all into midwifery in Costa Rica. So praise the Lord for that, because that stabilized me. And I sort of had my life back in that camp, but it was frightening. I had an accountant be like, "Oh, just have a hysterectomy." And I'm like, "You're a hysterectomy." That was just not my frame of mind to do something that drastic. And so I balanced that out, and just knowing that you can really protect yourself and your family and your animals from all of this, all of these avoidable things that are in, what is the worst one I want to say? Fabuloso. Ew, and all the like things that have it's so it bothers me so much to walk into any establishment that uses things like this, because I feel it. I don't know if anybody else notices those things, but that is a big deal. Being very intentional. But Amy's Dave's blend of Menopause it's such a lift. It's such a blessing, balancing. And I didn't know it was at any age, but I'm grateful for that. And just stick to fight the good fight, like, lose the stuff that doesn't serve you, and enjoy the balance of the good things that Dave and Amy have for us. And thank you. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. That was such amazing, on a journey that you've been on, and that you have survived, and you're thriving now. And that was an amazing point that you said about journaling. That is so important. And so I love that you shared that. Thank you so much for just being open to share with us what you have experienced. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up for Ruth. I would love to hear from you. And then Dominique is going to take over a little bit for me. I'm just going to check on a child. But I would love to hear from you, Ruth, and what your experience has been.
Thank you, Ashley. 23 years ago, I was going through a very powerful cocktail of chemotherapy to treat by the way, glyphosate-induced cancer. And by the end of the first cycle of the chemotherapy, I experienced a very abrupt, shocking, and very, very uncomfortable menopause instantly. It was really a shock, although it wasn't all the way unwelcome because of the symptoms I was having. So, however, I didn't have Purium at the time. I was very proactive, and I did lots of research. And thankfully, in Ogden and Salt Lake City, Utah, where I was being treated, at that time, there were some very, very progressive organic health food stores and nutritionists. So I did the research, and I took all of the ingredients from the menopause positive, except for the chaste tree berry. I bought black cohosh root, dong quai root, and red clover and ate red clover organic sprouts and the ginseng root extract, along with some other things. Whatever I could do and eat organically on a very, very sparse diet, because I really was very close to being an invalid for a while. And so, long story short, I am so deeply grateful for Dave and Amy doing years and years and months and long nights and research and getting help from leaders in the natural field. They've made it so easy for us to put all these ingredients together. Almost every ingredient in Purium's products I took individually because of doing research 23 years ago. And it was kind of expensive, so I had to be very minimal with it. So now it's so easy and cost effective. And I'm so excited because it's helping me to stay in remission for the rest of my life. I'm very passionate also about sharing this. And so thank you for allowing me to share, because I just can't thank Dave and Amy enough. And I thank you all too, Million Moms. You're all just amazing. Thank you for this training.
Thank you so much, Ruth, for sharing your story. That was so beautiful what you mentioned, that what we have here is life-changing. Like you said, you were searching for all those ingredients and putting them together, and here we have it so seamless and easy, and it's reliable during those times where, your emotions might be fluctuating and you don't want to have to put together a bunch of herbs. So you can take the little menopause tincture and put it in your drink and, your power shake and drink it. So yeah, the convenience that we have is incredible, and it can really meet people where they're at on this journey, especially because it is very emotional. So I'm so grateful that you're here and that you're thriving, and thank you for sharing your story, because I'm sure it's impacted a lot of people on this call. Perfect. And then Kelly, I know you have your hand raised. Please go ahead and add to your share. We have time.
Thank you. I'll keep it real brief as I'm listening to everyone. I just wanted to share. So, my mom died from breast cancer at 39 years old. And so that really shaped my health journey from the time I was only 9 years old at the time. But by the time I was 19 or 20, I was already studying women's health. And so for years, I avoided many of the things Ashley talked about, used all natural laundry detergents and cleaners and, you know, any products I put on my body because our skin just absorbs chemicals and preservatives. I ate a very clean diet for the last probably 15 or more years. I ate mostly plant-based. I avoided the chemicals and the preservatives and the junk, but I had all kinds of health issues still. And so I really firmly believe it was a combination. I had to be doing those things, but it wasn't until I did the ULT and got the gut support. Our hormones are created in our gut, and the ULT also supports our lymphatic system. Oftentimes we don't hear about our lymph nodes until we hear there's cancer that is spread to them, but the Biomedic especially really supports our lymphatic system and gets it opened up and flowing. But again, like Ashley said, all the products in the ULT and the Core 4, they work together to really get that going. And so as soon as it's been 2 years now that I've been on the ULT, as soon as I started the ULT, anxiety symptoms went away, depression symptoms went away, my hormones, my moods, they regulated. My kids told me I wasn't jumpy anymore, things I didn't even realize about myself. But yeah, and the list is long. For me, a personal win was I had severe migraines, and it's been 2 years now, no migraines. That's been amazing. But and on my time of the month, they were so bad, just nothing would touch them, and those hormonal migraines are gone. It's wonderful. But another cool win I just wanted to share, I had some breast ultrasounds done like the month before I started the ULT. My breasts were so full of cysts. Some of them were the size of a ping pong ball. You could actually see them. I'm not a large person. You could see them. I could feel them. Some of them were painful. The specialists told me that they could drain them, but they would just fill back up. There was nothing they could do. They wanted to keep an eye on them to make sure they didn't turn cancerous. But they told me nothing would happen other than they would probably grow. 6 months into the ULT, they're gone. I couldn't feel them anymore. They had drained. My lymphatic system is just flowing so much better. Now, I haven't had another ultrasound to see if any of the microscopic ones are still there, but I can't feel any of them anymore. It didn't even occur to me right away. And that was something the doctors told me wouldn't happen. So when you really give your body that nutrition and the support and the other things Ashley mentioned, it's just amazing when we aid and assist our bodies with all of these things, what our bodies can do with them. So I just thought that might be helpful. I wanted to share.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Kelly. So beautiful. I'm so glad you came back and shared that with us. And I'm just so grateful too that you shared all of those details of your family history. And it just shows that all of us come from all these different walks of life, right? That we have different things in our life that really, when we can nourish ourselves, we find this core happiness. And I'm just so happy that you were able to find this for your health. That's huge. So now we're going to just go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, Ruth. Also, I didn't get to thank you, but Dominique did an amazing job. That was amazing to thank you. But thank you so much, Ruth, for sharing. And I'm going to pass it over to Naeva so she can share our call to action. And we're going to go ahead and close out right after that.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody that came on and shared today. It was so nice to hear all of your stories, and everything that you shared has impacted somebody here on this call today and will impact so many more lives. So we want to encourage you to share this replay with people that you believe these stories could impact their lives, that could inspire them to take the step towards self-care, because we all know that self-care is so important. And right now in the chat, I'm going to give you guys a little gift. So go grab it. If you can't grab it, I'll post it in Million Mom Movement Official. You can grab it there, but we do have a Christmas recipe book for you. So for those of you who got to see the Thanksgiving one, we also have a Christmas one. If you have any Christmas recipes that you would like to have in that recipe book, please send it over to us. You can just send it to over in the Instagram Messenger. And if you have a picture of your recipe, then send that with it and we'll add it to the recipe book. So we'd love to add more Christmas theme recipes to that book. But with your help, we will do that. So please send over some recipes that you think would be fitting for Christmas. And then without further ado, we'd love to invite you to our community. So if you're new here, we'd love to invite you to like, follow, and share us, our platform with your community. Please go like us on Facebook. That's where this was going live today. So you can share the live replay on your Facebook or your stories. We also have a community Facebook group, Million Mom Movement Official. That's where this replay will be posted, along with any links that we shared today. You can also follow us on Instagram, where we love to repost your stories and repost your posts. So if you use our hashtags and tag us, then you make it easier for me to find you, and I can repost you either in our stories or as a post. One small housekeeping piece about being reposted: if you want to collaborate with us on Million Mom Movement, please do. If you are collaborating with us, please do not link your gift card code or offer for them to reach back out to you or use your gift card code, because we will not collaborate with you if that is in the verbiage. But if it is just a generic post, we can collaborate with you. So just want to share that little housekeeping tip. And last but not least, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can find almost 300 replays from our past 5 years of presentations. And of course, join us next Friday. And next Friday, Dominique will be leading us on a business presentation. So please invite all of your brand partners to join us next Friday, and we look forward to seeing you there. So have a great weekend, everybody. I go ahead and let you all unmute yourselves if you'd like to say bye. Thanks for being on here.
Thank you guys so much.